How's it going, everyone? This is Bernardo here. Welcome to another Unsubjective Reality video. On today's video, I want to talk about a subject that came up a couple days ago. 2 days ago, President Trump posted on his Truth Social platform calling for interest rates to be lowered to go hand in hand with the tariffs that he's been implementing. And I think that raises a lot of questions for some on how that would look like if these interest rates do end up getting lowered. What does that look like for the economy? What does that look like for the stock market, for the crypto market, and especially for business, which is what this channel is about. So I wanted to go a little bit into that subject and talk about what it could look like if these interest rates do end up getting lowered as per President Trump's recent request. I think something that's important to mention is that President Trump does not get the final say on whether interest rates get lowered or not. That is up to the Federal Reserve, also known as the Fed, whose chair, his name is Jerome Powell. And he actually said a day before President Trump made the post on Truth Social saying that the Fed shouldn't be necessarily in a hurry to lower these interest rates. And I guess that was the way of President Trump responding to that comment by Jerome Powell. He and Powell have had their conflicts in the past on President Trump's past term. Similar situations where the president has called for interest rates to go down, and maybe Powell wasn't as receptive to his requests. But this time around, it seems like it's the natural course of action. I think a lot of people have been waiting over these past couple months to see what Trump's policy will be on interest rates, and I believe that the overall expectation was for them to be lowered. But at the end of the day, the Fed makes that call. But President Trump, of course, knows that the Fed also reacts to political and economic pressure, and he is pretty much just stating what he thinks is right and trying to gather support behind his idea that interest rates should be lowered. I personally think that it would be a good thing for interest rates to be lowered at this point in time for the American economy. Of course, I wanted to talk a little bit about what that means and what that looks like, and then we'll go into what it means for the stock market, for crypto, for businesses, even for the housing market also. So pretty much in simple terms, interest rates being lowered means that it is cheaper to borrow money. So what that creates is more injection of capital in the economy, and for investors, that also means a higher opportunity cost of keeping their money parked in low yield assets, meaning bonds, savings accounts, etc. So that means that the appetite for investors becomes a little bigger for risk, and they look for higher returns elsewhere, in spite of these lower yield assets that I just mentioned. So starting with businesses and startups, I believe that it's definitely a good opportunity for startups to get funded. VCs usually get hungrier when interest rates go down. Of course, they have a little bit more appetite for risk, and the VC market tends to heat up. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to get your seed round or your Series A, this if interest rates end up going down, it seems that it should be a good opportunity for you to do so. Of course, that doesn't mean guaranteed success as an entrepreneur who's trying to start a business or get funded at this specific moment when interest rates go down. You want to build something that's sustainable over a long period of time, and something that makes sense. Otherwise, when these interest rates spike back up, you're just going to get wiped out. So entrepreneurs definitely have to tread carefully. There is a lot of opportunity, but you also have to build something meaningful. I think that with businesses and with startups, you definitely see a little bit of spike on VC activity. Usually, startups get valuated higher on periods like this, so I think that that's something to be looking out for when these interest rates do end up going down. For the stock market, that on the short term usually means a boom, right? Cheap debt means higher valuations, means investors pumping up the prices of stocks, bigger corporate profits. So I do believe tech stocks, growth stocks, anything with high leverage, these things could all soar. But then I think as an investor, something that all of us have to look at is don't mistake a rate-driven growth with real success. If these companies aren't making more money, then it's just an inflationary move the disguised in a lower interest rate. Over time, that movement's not going to hold. And I do believe that, of course, smart investors will know the difference between real growth and success disguised as inflation. I think for the crypto market, it's a similar scenario. With low interest rates, the crypto market usually soars. I think for the crypto market, it's a similar scenario to the stock market, where usually with low rate environment, um, the market goes up, it booms, it goes on a bull run. But that can go away, of course, in an instant if the Fed suddenly decides to tighten up the screws. So, I definitely would not want to be stuck in a liquidity trap. So, it's definitely a moment to take advantage of the opportunities, but also really calculate the risks. I would think, as an investor myself. So yeah, I think these two markets, both stock and crypto, um, tend to go up if these interest rates really end up going down. I think we're definitely going to see a change on the housing market as well. If cash is cheap, demand to buy houses is going to increase. Therefore, prices tend to increase also. So um, definitely something to keep an eye out for. And I think there are definitely going to be some new homeowners looking to buy, and we'll see the effects with the prices. So looking at the bigger picture, some things we should be expecting if these interest rates do get lowered as per President Trump's request. The first thing is the economic growth short term. That's usually guaranteed when interest rates get lowered. I definitely think we're going to see the stock and crypto markets soar short term. I do think that we're going to probably see housing prices increase, real estate, because the demand's going to increase. So prices are going to do the same. And for businesses and startups, I do believe that valuations are going to go up, and we're going to be seeing a lot more VC activity and funding um, in the beginning. If when these interest rates go down, I think companies are gonna try to get higher returns on riskier markets and riskier investments, since those low yield assets aren't going to be as attractive with lower interest rates. So, and of course, some other things to keep in mind, I think, with lower interest rates are that inflation could go up at a fast rate. So that's definitely something to look out for. Debt, people have to do a good job, controlling their debt and not try not to over leverage, because then when those interest rates get pulled back up, they get crushed. And of course, bubbles in the stock and crypto markets, those could also happen. But yeah, it'll be an interesting scenario, I think, moving forward. I do believe that in the short run, it'll be good for business. It'll be good for investments, of course, with newer things, more investments in AI. I think more investments in crypto, more investments in startups, and in the stock market too. So I'm interested to see if the Fed, what the Fed is going to do about this request by President Trump. But of course, it's not just him making that request. But we'll see. I'm eager um, to to see what's going to happen, and of course, take advantage of the opportunities that may arise. As a business owner, and for my company as well. So we'll see about that. And drop your comment below. What do you think? If you think the Fed is going to lower these interest rates anytime soon, if you think President Trump and Jerome Powell are going to have more toe to toe exchanges. They haven't been very friendly in the past. So um, yeah, looking forward for the next one, and we'll see you. Always forward.